Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Keith. I am filming this early Thursday morning, but Wednesday morning I had the opportunity of going into a Tim Hortons. Minding my own business, wearing my Red Blacks jersey, guy came up to me, who I'd never seen before, only to tell me that the Red Blacks sucked. They're going to blow it tonight, he told me. Oh, they're off to a terrible start. They're going to blow this season. Not the guy to say that to. I quickly reminded him that they tied Calgary. They lost to Calgary and lost to Edmonton in their hometowns, which most teams tend to do, and they lost a close one to Toronto. Not to give up hope. Oh, no, they're going to blow it. So, Keith coming at you, letting you know that tonight, the Ottawa Red Blacks put up their first win of the season. It was a close game, a closer game than it needed to be, but they still got the win. Before we get into the Red Blacks victory, I need to take a step back and I need to congratulate the Montreal Alouettes. What a great team this is. If you've ever had the opportunity of going to see a game in Montreal at McGill University, you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, put it on the list. Great organization, great team, and I want to take my hat off specifically to Darian Durant, their quarterback. Here's a guy who, over the last few seasons, has been plagued with injury, has found a home now in Montreal after being released by Saskatchewan, and tonight threw for 452 yards. Let me say that again. 452 yards. What makes that impressive is the fact that it was 452 yards in a losing effort. Coupled with the fact that he is the only quarterback that has thrown for that many yards, with the exception of Ricky Ray, who threw for 501 yards in the opening game between Toronto and Hamilton. But hats off to Darian Durant, and I wish you all the best this season. Now back to Ottawa. Ottawa did a lot of things right. Unfortunately, there was so many unforced errors, like end zone pass drops, which could have been touchdowns. But the referees didn't help things either. I'm not usually one that wants to come down on the refs, but I'll just say it's a really good thing that we've got a replay system in place. The referees aren't expected to be perfect, and they're not supposed to get it right all the time, but it just seemed to me that there were a couple of plays that they were missing. A big one was when Darian Durant was knocked for a fumble, and unfortunately it wasn't ruled a fumble initially. It was on the challenge, but had it not been, Ottawa would have been able to pick up the ball and run to the end zone for a touchdown. So sometimes the refs get it right, sometimes they don't, and this unfortunately was one of those times where they didn't. But Ottawa had some problems of their own. Trevor Harris had times where he had receivers open. He was either overthrowing them or just wasn't connecting with them. And obviously, when you've got a quarterback who throws for 452 yards against you, the secondary needs to be a lot better, especially when their next game is against that quarterback who threw for over 500 yards. So hopefully Ottawa will be able to get it together in the short amount of time, because they're back on the field on Monday in Toronto. So congratulations to Ottawa. I wish I could run into that Tim Hortons guy from this morning. Being the guy I am, I would buy him a coffee before I said, "I told you so." So congratulations to the Red Blacks, and they've got the win, so now they can not necessarily ease up, but they've got that monkey off their back, and they can start focusing on getting more wins. The one comment I did want to make from tonight's game, it was rather interesting as somebody who's been to every single home game, seeing the Red Blacks cheer team all of a sudden in the depths of the end zone. Now, I talk about them a lot, and people wonder, well, why? Well, as somebody who appreciates all facets of the CFL, I see the value that the cheer and dance team bring to the team. So, for example, last week, or the last home game that Ottawa had, you had fans leaving early and fans packing it in when it didn't look like it was going well for Ottawa. But then you've got the cheer and dance team loud and proud supporting them. That is what you need at every game. There was a moment in the game today where Ottawa was on defense, and Gavins, one of the defensive players, came over and started trying to get the crowd going. That's great, but his job is to play. You know whose job it is to get the crowd going? The cheer and dance team. So Red Blacks, OSEG, they need to be back where they were. Now, I understand that they were moved because of blocking sponsorship signs. As a marketing graduate, I can completely appreciate somebody paying thousands of dollars for advertising. But what I don't get is, this isn't the first or second week of this team being in existence. We're into the fourth season. You mean to tell me that all of a sudden they're blocking the signs? Doesn't add up. We are the only team in the CFL that doesn't announce our cheer and dance team once they take the field to do their performances. And now we're basically putting them in detention. It's not cool. I'm not trying to pick a fight with Oseg or be that guy, but it doesn't make sense to me. And for those people who come to me and say, I don't get cheerleading and I don't understand why it's so important, I say fair. But I also say that for every person that's come to me and said that at some time or another, they usually interact with a cheerleader, or more so their child does, or their nephew does, or their niece does, and then they see that kid's face and that kid's face comes alive and then they get it. For every adult like myself who goes to the game and just loves to see football, I assure you that there are little boys and girls that are coming looking at the cheer and dance team saying, I want to do that when I grow up. They deserve a lot more respect than that. They need to be back where they were, and for the love of God, start announcing them. Don't be ashamed of them. They make you proud at every single community event. They need more respect. That is my opinion. That is why they call it the View from the 40. My name is Keith Whittier. That is my opinion. I sit at the 40. View from the 40. It works. Thank you so much for checking this out. As always, you can reach out to me on Twitter at CFL_fan, Facebook.com/WhittyWhittier, and WhittyWhittier.com. Thanks so much for checking this out. Until next time, it's my View from the 40.